I'm breaking these up into 5-minute groupings so that, sorry about this technical difficulty. Okay, we're breaking this up into 5-minute groupings because it's easier to upload, and the truth of the matter is most people's attention span wouldn't go beyond 5 minutes anyway. So the good news is they can go, well, I can spend 5 minutes listening to this crap. Or you can go, oh, you know what? This guy actually has something to say. Maybe I should take a few minutes. Excuse me while I get comfortable. This next part, so my blood pressure doesn't go through the ceiling while I'm talking about this. I'm not sure where to start. Whether I should start with the 2016 presidential election, but actually I think I will because that's a good place to begin. For those of you who were actually around then or actually paying attention, the point is what none of you got while Donald Trump was starting out was he didn't have anything. He didn't have a support group. He had money, I guess. And I guess he had a following of people who were in awe of his celebrity, but he didn't have anything else. But that's okay because he had one thing. He had an understanding of how to play the media. And the irony of it is, at the time, they didn't care because he was so entertaining. He was saying outrageous things. He was being an absolute buffoon. And you people gave him millions of dollars worth of airtime. We're going to talk about that a lot. Millions of dollars of airtime. I hope that haunts your dreams because you gave it to him for free. Because every time Donald Trump said something outrageous, you couldn't wait to get him on the screen and show it. What is the matter with you stupid assholes? What the hell do you think he wanted you to do? Just that. You see, the problem was, or the reality was, whichever you want to say is, there was a shitload of Republicans wanting to be president. And Donald knew that. And he also knew that all he needed to do was get 20 to 30% of the vote. And he was there. Maybe he wouldn't be number one, but he would be number two. And he could catch enough of that simply by being an outrageous asshole. Because people were so tired of all the garbage. By the way, that's another story. I'll cover that in the book I'm writing. Anyway, so he would get up there. He would accuse people's families of shit. He would put out ridiculous statements. He would tell half-truths about what the other Republicans were or doing or whatever, and sometimes more than half-truths because he was pulling it out of his ass and everybody was buying it. And it didn't matter. All he had to do was reach the fringe, the nut jobs, the wackos, the people who are sitting there with guns, polishing them and having orgasms while they're waiting to screw the world. And they got to, because he'd walk out of a primary with a win, with less than 30% of the vote. Okay? And what everybody was thinking, including me actually, was, well, that means 70% of the people didn't want him. He didn't care, because as each one of those mounted with this big group of candidates, and he wanted there to be a big group of candidates. He wanted to dilute the group as much as possible, because if he had started out with only 2 or 3 candidates to face, he'd have been crushed, and he needed time to build up. Think about that. There are some historical elements to this. This is how he chose to go this route. And it continued to work, but what was most incredible was there was the good old liberal media helping him out. They were putting his face all over the place. And they were killing the rest of the Republicans. If there was a legitimate Republican candidate, which is probably a joke anyway, they'd have had no chance because they weren't getting the time that he was. And they didn't know how to stop it. Poor stupid Republicans. They had every opportunity to shut Donald down in the early days, but he was bringing so much media attention. They were loving it. What they didn't realize was that after a point in time, he became unstoppable. He was going to get the nomination, and there wasn't anything they could do about it. Well, that's about 5 minutes. I'll let you think about that. There's another video behind this one. See you later.